Hello, Waterloo Region. You're listening to Meet the Candidate on CKMS-FM 102.7 Radio Waterloo. My name is Bob Jonkman. In this episode, we meet James Schulz, Libertarian candidate for Waterloo. In Meet the Candidate, Radio Waterloo provides 25 minutes of free airtime to the Waterloo Region candidates running in the Ontario provincial election. This is not an interview, but 25 minutes of unstructured time. Candidates could tell you about their party platform, the local Waterloo Region issues they'll be tackling, why they're running, or what they do outside of politics. Note that the views expressed are not necessarily those of the candidate, not necessarily those of the Radio Waterloo Board of Directors, the volunteers, sponsors, or advertisers. Now, let's meet the candidate, James Schulz.
Hey, thank you, Bob. And good morning, Waterloo. So I'll start with a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in the city, Kitchener and Waterloo. Born at Grand River. I went to Lincoln Heights, Blueville. And I love our community. It's so nice to see how our community's grown and how we have that sense of community. But anyways, I ran in 2014 when I was fresh out of high school, more so to show my interest in the party and politics. I've always been involved. I job shadowed Mark Whaley, the city councillor previously for Ward 5 when I was in 8th grade. I worked in construction for the last decade since I last ran. I've been around Canada. I've done some work on both coasts. I've been up in the Yukon. But I always keep coming back here. This is my hometown, and I care about it. And it's one of those things, we really want, I want our community to have better representation. And by that, I mean, I want to empower our MPPs. The Libertarian Party is proposing making changes to the Municipal Elections Act. I think Fife did do a good job fighting for farmland, but I don't think she should have had to fight that hard. People shouldn't have the fear of having their land taken from them. Property rights are a very key part of the libertarian structure and our platform. Individual rights and equality for all. One of the struggles that I've had in this election with the snap election too, we have low voter turnouts, and it's hard for parties to really get their voice out. So I'm really glad that I have this opportunity to speak today. At the end of the day, it's our tax dollars are being spent paying for the campaigns of the main parties, and we barely ever get to hear the voice of the others. I'm running a campaign on $0, and it's a snap election with a $200 bribe. That is what that check more or less is. It's right before that. That's $3 billion that could have been spent elsewhere. It could have reduced wait times. We could have bought 1,186 MRI machines for Ontario with that. I'm pretty sure that would have really reduced some wait times in our hospitals right now. I think there's more important things that money should be getting spent on. Our party's been in Ontario for 50 years, and we're still not getting invited to debates. Let's see. So, more so, I am a libertarian. I believe in low taxation and better representation. If there's tax money going locally, that should be kept locally. I want to see less of it going to the provincial government. Every time money changes hands, you lose a little bit of that. Let's see. I want to work more with the communities and the organizations. If there are needs in the community, I'm going to listen to what people are asking about. I want to cut taxes, but the first priority shouldn't be about services. There's other things with administrative costs. So much money gets wasted when it's in the hands of the government, and it's so much easier to keep track of where it's being spent at the local level. That's going to give us more transparency. I want to reduce the administrative costs. One suggestion that I personally have, over COVID, Waterloo especially, but all over Ontario and Canada, we saw so many small businesses go under that weren't able to keep up with the measures that the government put in place. One thing that I think would really make a lot of sense, even when court cases were done over Zoom calls. During COVID, why are our members of parliament having to go to Toronto, spending so much time out there when they could be spending more time with a laptop and a camera, and we could be streaming that? We'd still have the same access, but that would save millions of dollars right there. I think that should be one of the first things that we should actually be cutting, is reducing the government waste. One of the real issues that we really have in our community is the struggle of homelessness. Rent is so expensive out here. The cost of living, people are barely affording to People are barely affording to heat their homes, and people are seeing the food banks in record numbers. More money in the pockets of Canadians is going to help. And my solution towards that, rather than handing out a bunch of rebates, I'd like to stop handing out rebates and handouts from the government, but I'd like to stop taking money out of your pocket. When it comes to income tax, the Liberals are talking about raising the exemption amount by about 1,100 and something, but I don't think anyone should be getting taxed on their income when they're still living below the poverty line, let alone not having the dream or being able to afford a mortgage. A mortgage tends to cost less than rent. People aren't getting by. I trust Canadians. I don't trust politicians. And that's the thing. I'm not your typical politician, right? So in regards to healthcare, we're using about 50% of our sorry, my apologies. Canadians value healthcare, but we want quality. I want to be proud of our system. Previously, before the current government, we once had the LIN system in place. That basically what that was is it had more power in the hands of the nurses. I don't think the politicians or myself are the most educated when it comes to what policies need to be enacted. We need to be consulting with healthcare providers and asking them about their input on that. Keeping the money locally and getting it to the hospitals. Let the hospital workers decide. They should appoint someone in charge to decide where the money goes, and that would be more directly affecting our healthcare. I really do believe that we can provide better healthcare and reduce wait times by going back towards this kind of a system. Let me think. So the Liberals now are really trying to champion about education. They don't want people to pay back their student loans unless they're making more than $50,000. But when I was growing up, I used to go to Harold Wagner. Now it's Cola Harmony. The Liberals shut that down. They were closing down schools before, and now they're trying to champion education. At the end of the day, I think parents know what's best for their kids, and funding needs to be tied to the student. Like public, private, whether you're putting it into the Catholic school board or you're homeschooling. If that money was kept more in the hands of the student and the direction of their parents, I think that would be a better way. Maybe that funding could be put into a fund that it wouldn't be like taken and wasted on like lottery tickets or something, but have that money impound. If someone's being homeschooled, say they're working on a farm or something, then they're getting real life experience in that time. And then with homeschooling, you still have to take tests to make sure that there's a certain standard of education. But if the money was collected and accumulated over that time, maybe that would be a way that we could be still investing in public education, but also being able to be investing in post-secondary. Let's see. So in regards to transportation, I don't know. I've heard a lot about the LRT over the last few years. I'm pretty sure in 2014 I was the only one that didn't really support the program. I think it was completely over budget. I don't think a lot of people are the happiest with the location right outside the hospital. It's really making it harder for ambulances to get in. I myself, you drive an electric vehicle to get around. I use a one-wheel. And I love our city because we have so many trails. It's easier to get around on that thing than it would be driving a car half the time. I think our city does a good job in managing and making sure things are available. I don't want to take that power away from the city. I want to empower it. I want to empower communities, because communities are what makes our nation great. Let's see. I'm trying to think about what else to talk about. I think I touched about this a little bit briefly. So I did touch on this with land rights. I want more power back towards the property and to the individuals. I don't think that people should ever have the fear of government taking their land from them. On my roots, I'm a Russian Mennonite. So if any of you know the history on that, and there's reasons why I don't think the government should take farmland from farmers. But another interesting point about homelessness, the Libertarian Party is proposing to bring back land patent acts, or land patent partials, more along the lines of homesteading. Our ancestors, when they first came here, had a great opportunity to settle land, and we have homeless people on our streets, and we have so much empty, unused land in our country. Like native reserves up there, I'm sure we could work agreements with them. I'm not talking about stealing the land from the natives, but some of these communities have had boil water orders since as long as I can remember. And I don't think the government's really putting much effort into actually addressing that. I think the easiest way to address that is to encourage more development up north on Crown land. Let's give land to Canadians, give them the opportunity that people used to have. There's no reason in a country as large as ours, in a province as big as ours, that people should be homeless and not be able to own a property. Like, we need to fix that. And by empowering communities to work together, we need to have public-private partnerships. There's got to be ways that we can address these issues. That's the thing. More money in the hands of Canadians is going to be better, because Canadians, I grew up with that stereotype. I'm sure we all did. We all love each other. We're going to help our neighbor. Look at all the snow that we've had in the last few weeks. I'm sure a lot of you listening out there have pulled over when you see a car in the ditch and stop and make sure that they're okay, right? And that's the thing. I trust Canadians, not politicians. I want the money back in your pocket. I want to empower smaller levels of government and individuals. Let's see. Trying to think about what else to talk. I think I actually did. I think I covered a lot of topics on there. So another thing about my campaign, I am running this on I'm not spending a penny on this campaign. I don't think that we should be wasting money funding political ads. Like an $8 million Super Bowl ad that's covered with tax money is ridiculous. We give such an opportunity to the main parties by using our tax money to support their campaigns. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the reason people are dissatisfied is because we're getting the same results, and none of the parties are finding real solutions. We need to be looking at the alternatives parties. We need to be paying attention, seeing what options are out there. More people need to get involved in politics. I'm back in the province now, and I care. And this is a time we really need to really care about what it means to be Canadian. We should be proud to be Canadian and have merit. We need to diversify. We need to empower communities so that we can better get back to our sense of culture and pride. I do think I've covered a lot of this in the party. I do have a Facebook page. If you type in James Schulz Libertarian, I've made a lot of posts in the last bit. Laurier Radio reached out to me the other day. I'm still waiting to get a video clip of that, and I'll be posting this link as well after this is done. Yeah. I do think I covered a lot of this. Please, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think what else is there to talk about. Yeah, I ran in 2014 to show interest because I've always been interested in politics. But that's the thing. I'm still interested. I still care, and I'm still in our community. I don't know. Generally speaking, I work in construction. I hang on the outside of high rises. I've worked on swing stages, bosun chair, genie lifts. I've never had a fear of heights. I would like to work with people. I'm a good mediator. Any role that I've ever really stepped in, I ended up being a supervisor. I like working with people. I like listening to their ideas. Everyone has values, and aces in their places it's a saying that I like to say, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think, but that's the thing. I've had some people reach out to me and ask me questions through email. If anyone wants to follow my Facebook page and ask me any questions, I'll happily get back to anyone. I think I've gotten back to everyone who's asked me anything over this campaign. Yeah. I know. Sorry. I want to introduce you, please. I'm looking really stupid right now. Yeah. don't know. Pretty much. I think I'm probably good on this, actually. Unless Bob has any questions for me, I think I'm probably good on this.
All talked out?
Yeah, I think I ran through my points a little quick there. Yeah, so if you had any questions for me, I'll gladly ask. I know it's not an interview, but...
Yeah, we're not doing the interview today.
Yep.
Perhaps after you're elected.
Okay.
So thanks, James, for coming in.
All right, thank you, Bob.
You've been listening to James Schulz, the Libertarian candidate for Waterloo, on Meet the Candidate. The views expressed were those of the candidate, not necessarily those of the Radio Waterloo Board of Directors, volunteers, sponsors, or advertisers. All Waterloo Region candidates were invited to meet the candidate, but some candidates have declined to appear on the radio and some have not responded at all. Remember, the election is on Thursday, the 27th of February. Show notes, podcast, and video will be available shortly on the Radio Waterloo website at radiowaterloo.ca/mtc. The show is produced by me, Bob Jonkman, in the studios of CKMS-FM 102.7 Radio Waterloo. The theme music is Falling Sky by Jason Shaw of Audionautics.com and used under Creative Commons Attribution Only 4.0 International License.